welcome to Springfield Career Insights. Tonight, we confront a reality that affects every family, every neighborhood, and every young person. Community safety in a society that is changing faster than our systems can respond. Crime is no longer something that happens out there, it's happening near our homes, on our streets, in our schools, and increasingly on our phones. Young people face new risks from physical danger to digital exploitation, often without the tools to protect themselves. And yet, safety is not only about fear, it is about awareness, it is about preparation, it is about community. So we ask, how does an ordinary person stay safe in a world where danger is unpredictable and trust is no longer guaranteed? And how do communities rebuild the culture of looking out for one another? To guide us through this vital conversation, we are joined by His Excellency Dr. Godfrey Gandawa, President of Springfield Research University, Architect of Education 6.0, and a continental voice on social behavior, community systems, and public safety. President, welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. At Springfield, we teach that safety is not the absence of danger. It is the presence of awareness. A community becomes stronger when its people learn to recognize risks, protect themselves, and look out for one another. So when young people combine vigilance with responsibility, they do more than survive. They create safer spaces for everyone around them.
Thank you, Professor. President, many young people feel unsafe in their own communities. Why has community safety become such a critical issue today?
So thank you, Doctor. So community safety has become a critical issue today because the world young people are growing up in is not the same world their parents knew. The threats are more complex, more unpredictable, and more invisible than before. So safety is no longer just about avoiding dangerous places. Danger now travels through people, through technology, economics, and social pressures. So there are several forces now driving this crisis. So first is the economic pressure, which has increased desperation. So when unemployment rises, crime rises with it. When people feel cornered by poverty, some turn into harmful behavior. So young people often become the easiest targets because they move more, they trust more, and they explore more. And secondly, communities have lost their traditional protective structures. In the past, neighbors knew each other. Families lived close. There was a shared sense of responsibility. But today, people live next to each other but remain strangers. Isolation weakens safety. And third, technology. Technology has created new forms of danger. Scams, cyberbullying, identity theft, online predators, and digital manipulation now reach young people living inside their homes. So the phone has become both a tool and a threat. And fourth, substance abuse. So substance abuse has increased unpredictability. Drugs and alcohol fuel violence, theft, and reckless behavior. So a community with a high substance abuse becomes unstable, and young people feel the impact first. And fifth, we have social tensions and inequality, which has widened. So when people feel excluded, ignored, or hopeless, frustration spills into the streets. So this creates an environment where conflict becomes normal and safety becomes fragile. Sixth, youth themselves are under pressure. Peer pressure, social media pressure, financial pressure. So these pressures push some into risky behavior, dangerous friendships, and unsafe environments. And finally, Doctor, trust in institutions is weakened. So When communities feel that authorities cannot protect them, people feel alone. So fear grows, suspicion grows, and safety becomes a personal responsibility rather than what? A shared one. So this is why community safety is now a critical issue, because the threats are evolving faster than the systems designed to protect young people. But awareness is the first step, Doctor, to empowerment. So when young people understand the forces shaping their environment, they can make wiser decisions, set stronger boundaries, and protect themselves with intention rather than fear.
Thank you, Professor. When a young person senses danger but doesn't know how to respond, what is the first principle of personal safety they should understand?
So thank you, Doctor. So when a young person senses danger but does not know yet what to do, the first principle of personal safety they must understand is trust your instincts and create distance immediately. Instinct is not panic, Doctor. It is intelligence. It is the mind directing patterns before the eyes confirm them. It is the body recognizing risk before the brains find language for it. So most young people get hit not because they didn't sense danger, but because they ignored the signal. So the moment something feels wrong, a person, a place, a situation, a conversation, the priority is simple. Step back, move away, create space. Distance gives you time. You need time. It gives you time. Time gives you the clarity, and clarity gives you options. So this principle matters because danger thrives on proximity. So when you are too close, your choices shrink. When you create distance, your choices expand. From that distance, a young person can then assess the situation calmly. Look for exits, safer areas, call someone they trust, seek help from nearby adults or authorities, remove themselves completely if needed. But none of these steps matter if they ignore the first one. Trust the signal and move. Safety begins long before danger becomes visible. It begins the moment your spirit whispers something is off. And a wise young person listens to that whisper and acts, Doctor.
Thank you, Professor. You often say safety begins with awareness. What does that mean in practical everyday terms?
So thank you, Doctor. So when I say safety begins with awareness, I'm talking about a simple daily discipline. That's the discipline of being present. It means lifting your head, noticing your surroundings, and refusing to move through life on autopilot. Awareness is paying attention to the energy of a place. It's noticing who is around you, how they are behaving, and whether something feels off. It's keeping your phone down when you are walking, keeping your ears open, and keeping your mind alert. It's recognizing behavior, not clothing. A person's appearance tells you nothing. Their actions tell you everything. So if someone is watching too closely, moving strangely, or following slowly, that is information your safety depends on. So awareness also means knowing your exits, Doctor. Every shop, every taxi, every building, every street. You should know how you would leave if something went wrong. Preparedness reduces panic. And above all, awareness is trusting your instincts. If something feels wrong, you don't debate it. You move. Your spirit often sees danger before your eyes do. So a young person who is aware is already halfway to being safe. because danger thrives on distraction and it struggles against a mind that is awake.
Thank you, Professor. Many young people walk through life distracted, headphones, phones, social media. How does this affect their safety?
Thank you, Doctor. So, distraction is one of the most dangerous habits of our generation. Not because young people are careless, but because the world has trained them to live inside their screens instead of their surroundings. When a young person walks with the headphones blasting, eyes on the phone, mind deep on social media, they are present physically, but absent mentally. And danger only needs one thing to succeed: your absence. Distraction shows your reaction time. You don't notice who is walking behind you. You don't see the car turning too fast. You don't sense the person watching you. You don't pick up the energy of a place. So your instincts cannot protect you if your attention is elsewhere. So it also makes you look vulnerable. Criminals study behavior. They look for the person who won't see them coming, who won't remember their face, who won't react quickly. A distracted young person becomes an easy target without even realizing it. And beyond physical danger, distraction disconnects you from your intuition. Your spirit whispers warnings, but you can't hear them. You can't hear them over the noise in your ears or the glow of your screen. And doctor, safety requires presence. Lift your head, lower your volume, look around, move with awareness. Because the world is not dangerous by default. It becomes dangerous when you stop paying attention.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to our gospel song, Traveler of the Eden Rooms.
Into silence where the stars were breathing light, where the veil grew thin and the spirit stirred the night. You called me by a whisper only heaven could release, and the ground beneath me opened like a pathway into peace. I walked through ancient corridors where time had lost its name, where angels kept the stories of the ones who overcame. Your presence wrapped around me like a mantle made of flame, and I knew I was becoming who I was before I came. I am a kanise la kona. I walk in places where your spirit lights my path.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. Some young people believe it won't happen to me. How can they overcome this dangerous mindset?
So thank you, Doctor. So the mindset of it won't happen to me is one of the most dangerous illusions a young person can carry. So because it creates a false sense of immunity, and immunity breeds carelessness, you see. So young people overcome this mindset when the moment they understand one truth. Danger does not choose people. It chooses opportunity. Harm doesn't look for the weak. It looks for the unaware. It looks for the distracted. It looks for the overconfident. It looks for the one who believes they are untouchable. So to break this mindset, a young person must first accept safety is not about fear. It is about responsibility. You lock your door not because you expect danger, but because you respect reality. You stay alert not because you are paranoid, but because you value your life. They must also understand that bad things happen to ordinary people every day. People who are smart, careful, and good. Danger is not personal. It is situational, Doctor. And situations change quickly. Another shift comes from seeing safety as self-respect. So when you take precautions, you are not being dramatic. You are honoring your future. You are protecting your family from grief. You are protecting your dreams from interruption. And finally, Doctor, young people must release or realize that awareness, being aware, awareness is strength. It is not weakness to be cautious. It is not cowardice to walk away. It is not overreacting to trust your instincts. And Doctor, the moment a young person replaces "it won't happen to me" with "I choose to protect myself," they step into a level of wisdom that keeps them alive, alert, and in control of their story.
Thank you, Professor. President, what role does emotional intelligence play in recognizing threats and avoiding conflict?
So thank you, Doctor. So emotional intelligence is one of the most underrated safety tools a young person can carry. So people think it is about being nice or sensitive, but in reality, emotional intelligence is a radar. It helps you read people, sense tension, and avoid conflict before it becomes dangerous. So emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. So when you understand your own emotions, you don't react impulsively. You don't let anger pull you into fights. You don't let pride make you stay in unsafe situations. You stay calm, and calm people make better decisions. It also includes reading other people's emotions. So most threats announce themselves through behavior long before anything happens. A shift in tone, a sudden silence, a look of agitation, a person who keeps watching you, a group whose energy changes. So emotional intelligence helps you pick up these signals early. And another part is managing your response. So many conflicts escalate not because danger was unavoidable, but because someone reacted emotionally. So a young person with emotional intelligence knows when to speak, when to be silent, when to walk away, and when to de-escalate. It also teaches empathy, which helps you avoid provoking situations without realizing it. So when you understand how others feel, you don't step on pride, embarrass people, or trigger unnecessary confrontations. So and finally, Dr. Emotional Intelligence strengthens intuition. So your instincts sharpen when your emotions are regulated. So you sense danger fast, you interpret behavior more accurately, you trust your inner warning system. And Dr. Emotional intelligence is not softness. It is a strategy. It keeps you alert, keeps you calm, keeps you alive in environments where emotions can turn into conflict in seconds.
Thank you, Professor. How can young people protect themselves without becoming fearful or paranoid?
Thank you, Doctor. So young people often think safety and fear are the same thing, but they're not. Safety is a mindset. Fear is a prison. The goal is to be alert, not anxious, prepared, not paranoid. So the first shift is understanding that awareness is confidence. When you pay attention to your surroundings, trust your instincts and move with intention, you actually feel more in control, not less. So fear comes from uncertainty. Confidence comes from preparation. So young people must also learn to set boundaries without hostility. You don't need to be rude to protect yourself. You can be firm, calm, and clear. So safety is not about fighting. It is about choosing where you place your energy and who you allow near you. And another key is avoiding extremes. So some people trust everyone. Some trust no one. Both are dangerous. The healthy middle is simple. Trust behavior, not appearances. Let people earn access to your space. It also helps to stay grounded in reality, not imagination. So fear imagines threats that don't exist. Paranoia sees danger everywhere. But awareness focuses on what is actually happening. The energy of a place, the behavior of people, the signals your instincts pick up. And finally, Doctor, young people must remember that safety is an act of self-respect. You protect yourself because your life matters, your dreams matter, your future matters. And when you move with that understanding, you don't become fearful, you become intentional. And Doctor, the safest young person is not the one who fears the world. It is the one who understands the world and moves through it with wisdom.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to our gospel song, Breath of Heaven, Fill This Room.
Breath of heaven, fill this room. There's a stillness in the waiting, a holy trembling in the air. Every heart is bowed in longing, every soul is in repair. We have gathered in the silence with a hunger only you can soothe. Let your presence fall upon us. Let your spirit start to move. Breath of heaven, fill this room. Let your glory settle soon. Let your whisper calm the storm. Let your fire make us new. Every heart is reaching out. Every soul is calling you. Breath rushing wind. Come like gentle rain. Come and heal the places we can't even name. Come restore the pieces. Come revive the truth. We are here in surrender. Let your breath renew. Breath of heaven, fill this room. Fill this room. Let your glory settle soon. Settle soon. Let your whisper calm the storm. Let your fire make us new. Every heart is reaching out. Every soul is calling you. Breath of heaven, fill this room.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. President, what practical safety habits should every person adopt immediately?
Thank you, Doctor. Now, every young person or every person needs a set of simple, practical habits that become second nature. That's habits that protect them without making them fearful. So these are not dramatic actions. They are small disciplines that quietly keep you safe every day. So the first habit is being present when you move, head up, phone down, ears open. When you walk with awareness, you reduce 80% of avoidable risk. And another habit is letting someone know where you are going, especially at night or when meeting new people. A quick message can save hours of uncertainty if something goes wrong. Young people should also choose their routes wisely. Stick to well-lit paths. Avoid shortcuts through isolated areas. Safety is often a matter of choosing the longer, wiser road. Another essential habit is checking the energy of a space before settling in. Whether it's a taxi, a party, a shop, or a gathering, pause for 2 seconds. Look at the people. Feel the atmosphere. If something feels off, step out. They must also protect their personal information. Not everyone deserves to know where you live, you see, where you work, or what you carry. Oversharing creates unnecessary vulnerability. Another habit, Doctor, is keeping valuables discreet. Don't flash phones, money, or gadgets in public. You want people to say that you are holding an iPhone and you are carrying a Mac. You see, visibility attracts attention, and not always the good kind of attention. And finally, young people should trust their instincts immediately. If your spirit whispers leave, you leave. If something feels wrong, you don't negotiate with their feeling, you act. Doctor, safety is not one big decision. It is a collection of small, consistent habits that protect your life without stealing your freedom.
Thank you, Professor. Many young people struggle to say no to dangerous invitations from friends. How can they build the courage to walk away?
Thank you, Doctor. So, walking away from dangerous invitations is not a matter of strength. It is a matter of identity. Young people struggle to say no because they fear losing friendships, looking weak, or being labeled boring. But the truth is simple, Doctor. Courage is choosing your future over someone else's approval. The first shift is understanding that real friends, don't pressure you into danger. Anyone who gets angry because you protected yourself was never offering friendship. They were offering risk disguised as belonging. Once a young person sees this clearly, saying no becomes easier. They must also learn to value their life more than their moment. A night out, a reckless plan, a risky drive, a shady gathering. These things last minutes, doctor, but the consequences can last years. When you think long term, short term pressure loses its power. Another key is having a ready-made exit line. If you don't actually need to explain your whole life to anybody. You don't need to debate. You don't need to apologize. A simple, calm line is enough. I'm not comfortable with that. Ends there. I will sit this one out. That's not my sin. Confidence is quiet. Young people also need to build a personal standard, a line that refuses to cross. When your values are clear, decisions become easy. You don't negotiate with danger, you walk away from it. And finally, doctor, they must understand that courage is not loud, it is consistent. It is choosing safety even when no one is watching. It is protecting your future even when others don't understand. It is walking away today so you can walk freely tomorrow. And doctor, the young person who learns to say no is not losing friends. They are serving their life.
Thank you, Professor. President, how can young people avoid being manipulated or lured into risky situations by peers or strangers?
Okay, so thank you, doctor. So manipulation is one of the most dangerous pathways into harm. Not because it is loud, but because it is subtle. So young people rarely walk into danger knowing, you see. They are pulled into it through pressure, charm, persuasion, or a false belonging. So to avoid being lured, the first defense is clarity of self. When you know who you are and what you stand for, it becomes very hard for anyone to drag you into situations that contradict your values. So manipulation thrives where identity is weak. Young people must learn to study behavior, not words. Manipulation speaks beautifully. They promise safety, fun, opportunity, or acceptance. But their actions reveal their intentions, rushing you, isolating you, guilt-tripping you, or making you feel obligated. So when words and behavior don't match, trust behavior. Another key is not letting flattery blind you. So some strangers and even peers use compliments, attention, or friendliness as a bait. Not every nice person is safe. Kindness is not proof of character. Young people must also recognize pressure as a red flag. Anyone who says, don't think, just come, don't tell anyone, you are being dramatic, or prove you are loyal, is not inviting you. They are controlling you. Healthy people respect boundaries. It is also important to slow things down. Manipulation works through speed. Danger wants you to decide quickly, Safety lives in the pause. If someone is rushing you, step back. If someone is pushing you, step away. And finally, doctor, young people must build the courage to walk away without explanation. You don't owe an explanation to anybody. You don't owe anyone a debate. You don't owe anyone a justification. Your safety is reason enough. And doctor, the truth is simple. Manipulation loses its power the moment a young person learns to trust their instincts, honor their boundaries, and choose themselves over pressure.
Thank you, Professor. What should a young person do when they feel unsafe at home, school, or in their neighborhood?
Thank you, Doctor. So, when a young person feels unsafe, be it at home, at school, or in their neighborhood, the most important truth they must understand is this: silence protects the danger, not the victim. Safety begins the moment they choose to speak, move, or reach out. So the first step is not facing it alone. Fear grows in isolation, but the moment a young person tells someone they trust, a relative, a teacher, a neighbor, a mentor, the situation begins to shift. So you don't need to explain everything at once. Even saying, I don't feel safe, is enough to open a door. If the danger is immediate, the priority is getting to a safer space. You step outside, move towards people, go to a neighbor's house, a shop, or a public area. Anyway, that breaks the isolation because distance is protection. At school, a young person should inform an adult with authority, a teacher, a counselor, a prefect, or administrator. No, schools have structures for a reason. So you must use them. You are not causing trouble by reporting danger. You are preventing harm. So in the neighborhood, they must trust their instincts and avoid hotspots. If a street, a group, or area feels unsafe, they don't need to justify avoiding it. Safety is not about being brave. It's about being wise. If the threat is coming from your home, the young person must know this. Feeling unsafe at home is not normal, and it is not their fault. They should reach out to a trusted adult outside the home, a relative, a teacher, a pastor, a coach, or a community leader. A home should protect you, not endanger you. And through all of this, they must remember that asking for help is a strength. It is not weakness to say, I need support. It is not betrayal to protect your life. It is not dramatic to choose safety. And doctor, the message is simple. When a young person feels unsafe, they must act, speak, move, reach out. Because danger grows in silence, but safety grows in the moment they refuse to face it alone.
Wow, this is amazing. Let's take a commercial break and stay tuned.
At Springfield Research University, we don't teach to pass exams, we encode futures. Grounded in Education 6.0 and powered by STEMMA, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, medicine and automation, we deliver modular, sovereign learning across undergraduate, master's and doctoral programs. Explore our prospectus, where every curriculum is designed to stematize every discipline, dignify local authorship, and credential transformative knowledge. Be stematized, be sovereign. Here, knowledge is authored, not borrowed. Curriculum is credentialed, not copied. Every graduate becomes an architect of transformation. With 2 annual intakes, March and September, the path to innovation is always open. From the logic of automation to the soul of indigenous intelligence, SRU is where tomorrow is designed. Springfield isn't just a university, it's an epicenter of epistemic dignity. Join the movement. Study where learning governs itself. Springfield Research University, the globe is here. Where are you?
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. President, how can communities work together to create safer environments for young people?
Thank you, Doctor. So, a safe community is never an accident. It is something people build together. So, young people cannot be protected by individuals alone. You see, they are protected by an ecosystem. When a community decides that its children matter, safety becomes a shared culture, not a personal struggle. So the first step is connection. When neighbors know each other, greet each other, and look out for each other, danger loses its hiding place. Isolation creates vulnerability, but connection creates protection. So communities must also communicate openly. If something feels wrong, people should talk about it. If a pattern of crime emerges, it should be shared. Silence allows danger to grow, information weakens it. Another powerful tool, doctor, is visibility. So safe communities have people outside walking, watching, engaging, and checking on each other. Criminals avoid places where eyes are present and people are alert. So adults must also model responsible behavior. Young people learn from what they see. If they see adults resolving conflict peacefully, respecting boundaries, and protecting each other, they adopt the same habits. Communities can also create safe spaces, youth centers, study areas, mentorship groups, sports programs. When young people have positive places to go, they spend less time in environments that expose them to harm. And finally, doctor, communities must support young people emotionally. So a young person who feels seen, valued, and supported is less likely to fall into dangerous circles. So safety is not only physical, it is also psychological. So a confident, grounded young person is harder to manipulate, harder to lure, and harder to harm. And doctor, a safe community is not built by police alone. It is built by neighbors who care, adults who pay attention, and young people who look out for each other. When a community decides to protect its future becomes safer.
Thank you, Professor. Some young people believe reporting danger makes them weak or snitches. How can we change this mindset?
Thank you, Doctor. So this mindset of snitching is one of the most dangerous cultural traps holding people hostage. It protects abusers, empowers bullies, and silences victims. And the tragedy is this: the people who shame you for reporting danger will not be there to save you when danger arrives. To change this mindset, we must first redefine what reporting truly is. So reporting is not like betrayal. It is protection. It is choosing life over loyalty to people who would not choose you. It is courage, not weakness. So young people need to understand that silence is what predators rely on. They operate in shadows. They thrive when victims are afraid to speak. So every time a young person reports danger, they are not just protecting themselves. They are protecting the next person who might be targeted. We must also teach them that real strength is accountability, doctor. It is no bravery to stay quiet, but it makes tremendous courage to stand up and say, this is wrong. That is leadership. That is maturity. And that is self-respect. Communities must recognize this by creating those or celebrating those who speak up, not shaming them. And adults must model it, schools must normalize it, friends must support it. When reporting becomes a respected act, the stigma dies. And finally, doctor, young people must understand that loyalty should never cost you your safety. If someone calls you weak for protecting yourself, they were never on your side. If someone mocks you for speaking up, they are protecting the danger, not you. And doctor, the message is simple. Reporting danger is not snitching. It is survival. It is wisdom. It is strength. And it is how young people reclaim power in environments that try to silence them.
Thank you, Professor. President, what is the difference between bravery and recklessness, especially for young men?
Yeah, Doctor, thank you. Many young men confuse bravery with recklessness because both can look bold on the surface, but their foundations are completely different. One protects your life, the other gambles with it. Bravery is intentional, recklessness is impulsive. A brave young man thinks before he acts. He measures the risk, understands the consequences, and chooses a path that protects his future. A reckless young man acts first and thinks later, and often pays for it. So, bravery is rooted in self-control. Recklessness is rooted in ego. Bravery says, I don't need to prove anything. Recklessness says, I must show them I am not afraid. So many young men get ahead not because they were courageous, but because they were performing for an audience that would never save them. So bravery avoids unnecessary danger. Recklessness seeks it. So a brave young man walks away from fights, refuses dangerous invitations, and chooses peace, even when provoked. A reckless young man enters situations he could have avoided and calls it strength. Bravery protects others. Recklessness endangers them. So a brave young man shields his friends from harm. A reckless one drags them into it. And finally, Dr. Bravery is quiet. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be seen. Recklessness is loud. It wants attention, reaction, and recognition. And doctor, the difference is simple. Bravery is wisdom. Recklessness is insecurity wearing confidence as a mask.
Thank you, Professor. President, what advice would you give to young women who face unique safety challenges in society?
Thank you, Doctor. So young women carry safety burdens that society often refuses to acknowledge. Expectations to be polite, pressure to be accommodating, and the constant demand to navigate environments that were not designed with their protection in mind. So my message to them is not rooted in fear, but in empowerment. The first truth is this: your safety is not negotiable. You do not owe anyone access, comfort, or explanation. If a situation feels wrong, you leave. If a person makes you uncomfortable, you distance yourself. Your instincts are not overreactions, they are warnings. Young women must also learn to the power of firm boundaries. You can be respectful without being available. You can be kind without being compliant. A boundary is not rudeness, it is self-respect. Anyone who pushes you for having boundaries is revealing their intentions. So another essential tool is situational awareness, doctor. Know your surroundings, know your exits, know who is around you. Predators rely on distraction. Awareness disrupts their plans. Young women should also protect their digital space. Many threats begin online through manipulation, fake intimacy, or emotional pressure. So guard your information, guard your images, guard your conversations. Your digital footprint is part of your safety. So it is also important to build a circle of trust, friends who check on you, family who know your movements, people who can call, intervene, or support you when something feels off. So safety grows in community, not isolation. And finally, Dr. Young women must understand that strength is not silence. If someone threatens you, harasses you or violates your boundaries, you speak, you report, you reach out, you protect yourself without apology. Doctor, my message to young women is simple. Your life is precious, your voice is powerful, your instincts are wise. Move through the world with confidence, not fear, and with the unshakable belief that you deserve to be safe everywhere you stand.
Thank you, Professor. Finally, President, what is your message to every young person trying to stay safe, alert, and hopeful in a society that is constantly changing?
Thank you, Doctor. So, my message to every young person trying to stay safe, alert, and hopeful in a world that shifts every day is this: do not let the speed of society convince you that you are powerless. You are not living in the easiest generation, but you are living in a generation with more tools, more knowledge, and more awareness than any before you. The first thing I want them to know is that alertness is not fear, it is wisdom. Being aware of your surroundings, your choices, your friends, your digital footprint, that is not paranoia. That is maturity. That is how you protect your future in a world that moves fast and doesn't always give second chances. But doctor, safety alone is not enough. You see, young people must also hold on to hope, because hope is the fuel that keeps you moving forward even when the world feels heavy. Hope is not naive, it is strategic. It says, I will not let the darkness around me decide the brightness within me. I want them to understand that they do not have to be perfect to be safe. They just need to be intentional. Choose your environments, choose your friends, choose your habits, choose your reactions. Every small choice is a shield. And they must remember that they are allowed to grow at their own pace. The world will pressure them to rush, to compare, to compete, to perform. But the truth is, the strongest young people are the ones who stay grounded, who move with purpose, who protect their peace, and who refuse to be dragged into chaos. And finally, doctor, I want every young person to know this. You are not powerless, you are not alone, and you are not defined by the dangers around you. You are defined by your decisions, your resilience, and your vision for your life. Be alert, be wise, stay wise, stay hopeful. The world may be changing, but so you are, and you are becoming stronger than you realize. Thank you, Dr. for helping me.
Thank you, President, for reminding us that safety is not fear, it is awareness. Your message tonight empowers communities to protect themselves through vigilance, responsibility, and unity. To our audience, if you are ready to strengthen your awareness and contribute to safer communities, Springfield Research University invites you to join a culture where safety is taught, practiced, and lived. Visit www.springfieldresearchuniversity.net to begin. This brings us to the end of tonight's edition of Springfield Career Insights. May your awareness protect your life and your community. I'm Clarence, your host.
English for a multilingual tapestry. Genjabulo sihlomeli impilo leyinhle lena. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanzania kiwa. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, sonke siyavumelana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanzania kiwa. Hey Esse som che se mi